5 silent things after 60 years old will steal years of your life without warning. Senior health. You spent 40 years preparing for retirement, but did you ever prepare for living past 80? Because here's the truth, no one tells you. Saving money won't save your health, and most people don't die from big diseases. They fade away slowly, quietly, because they were never taught how to stay alive after 70. In this video, I'll show you the silent reasons why so many people fail to make it to 80 and how you can avoid becoming one of them. It's not about fear, it's about awareness and taking back control of your future. If this message touched you, don't forget to subscribe to Devotion of Salvation, where truth meets transformation. The Forgotten Truth. 5 reasons that silently shorten your life. Number 1, we prepare for retirement, but not longevity. Most people spend their entire working lives preparing for retirement, but almost no one prepares for longevity. That's the hidden problem. We obsess over savings, pensions, insurance plans, and housing, but we ignore the real question: how do I stay healthy, strong, and mentally alive into my 80s and beyond? The truth is, living long isn't just about surviving. It's about having a body that still moves, a mind that still remembers, and a spirit that still wants to wake up and live. Unfortunately, most people fall into the trap of thinking that retirement is the final destination. Once they hit their 60s or 70s, they stop setting goals. They slow down completely, and worst of all, they stop taking care of their health. That's when decline speeds up. No amount of money in the bank can reverse a weak heart, brittle bones, or a fading memory. Aging is not passive. If you don't actively fight for your vitality, you'll lose it faster than you think. And yet, society doesn't talk about this. We talk about enjoying life after retirement, but not about earning that enjoyment through movement, diet, social connection, and mental stimulation. Longevity requires maintenance. Muscles weaken if they're not used. Bones lose density. The immune system needs nutritional support. Your brain needs challenge. But when was the last time a retirement plan included daily walks, strength training, or a nutrition coach? Almost never. And that's exactly why so many people live only a few short years after retirement, because their bodies were unprepared for the extra decades they thought they had. Retirement is not the end. In fact, it should be the beginning of your second life, your wiser life, but only if you train for it. The people who live past 80 with dignity and independence are not just lucky. They're consistent. They treat their health like a lifelong project, not a temporary fix. They stretch, walk, read, lift, learn, and love every single day. They don't wait for a health crisis to wake up. And they don't assume that aging equals decay. You shouldn't either. The body responds to effort at any age. It's never too late to start building habits that protect your energy, your balance, your heart, and your memory. The biggest threat after 60 isn't genetics, it's neglect. Neglect of movement, neglect of mindset, neglect of the fact that you still have decades left to live if you choose to actively live them. So stop treating retirement like the end of the road. Start treating it like the beginning of your health revolution. Because preparing for longevity is the only real retirement plan that matters. Number 2, the decline of purpose. After 70, one of the most dangerous things that can happen after the age of 70 isn't disease. It's the quiet loss of purpose. When people retire, when their children are grown, when society stops expecting things from them, many seniors suddenly find themselves drifting. They wake up and don't know why they're waking up. The days blur together. There's no schedule, no challenge, no mission. This psychological emptiness is not just sad, it's deadly. Studies have shown that losing your sense of purpose dramatically increases the risk of cognitive decline, heart disease, depression, and even early death. The human body and brain are wired to serve, to build, to grow. Without purpose, the mind shuts down and the body soon follows. It doesn't have to be a career. Purpose doesn't mean going back to the office or launching a company. It means having a reason to get out of bed that matters to you. It could be tending to a garden, caring for a pet, writing a memoir, mentoring younger people, or volunteering in your community. The form doesn't matter. The feeling does. Purpose gives structure. It brings back curiosity. It pulls people out of isolation. And most importantly, it reminds the elderly that they still matter. When seniors lose their sense of importance, they lose their energy. And when energy fades, so does health. Sadly, society often contributes to this decline. The elderly are treated as burdens, not assets. They're told to rest, to take it easy, as if their contribution is over. This mindset is toxic. Rest without purpose becomes decay. What many people don't realize is that your brain doesn't retire. Your creativity doesn't expire. Your wisdom doesn't become useless. But if no one, including yourself, expects anything from you, you start shrinking emotionally then physically. That's why so many people die not from illness, but from irrelevance. But it doesn't have to be this way. The people who live well past 80 and stay mentally sharp are almost always the ones who still have something to live for. It's not about age, it's about engagement. They stay curious, they ask questions, they explore new hobbies, they stay connected to people, and they feel needed. And feeling needed is one of the most powerful health boosters on earth. Without it, pills, diets, and even exercise have limited effect. If you're over 70 or know someone who is, ask this one question: what still excites you? If you don't know the answer, it's time to go find it. Because the difference between simply surviving and truly living is not physical strength. It's purpose. And purpose is something you create, not something that disappears with age. Reignite it and you reignite life itself. Number 3, medical systems treat illness, not aging. Here's a harsh truth. Modern medicine is excellent at treating disease, but terrible at supporting healthy aging. Doctors are trained to respond to emergencies, to fix what's broken, not to preserve what still works. And that's exactly why so many seniors feel like they're falling apart after 70. They go to the doctor with fatigue, brain fog, joint stiffness, or emotional numbness. And they're told it's just part of aging, but it's not. Those are signs of decline that can often be prevented or slowed, not ignored. The problem is, our medical system isn't built to help you age well. It's built to keep you alive just enough to manage your symptoms. Most checkups focus on cholesterol, blood pressure, and medication refills. But where are the conversations about muscle mass, sleep quality, mental stimulation, mobility, emotional resilience? These are the things that actually determine how well you'll live, not just how long. But they don't get covered in a 7-minute appointment. So people get sicker in silence. Their legs weaken, their minds dull, their spark fades, and no one addresses it until it becomes a crisis. A fall, a stroke, a deep depression. That's not healthcare. That's damage control. Healthy aging requires a proactive approach, not a reactive one. It means building strength before you're too weak to stand. It means nourishing your brain with challenge and curiosity before dementia sets in. It means looking at your nutrition, sleep, movement, and relationships as critical parts of your health, not optional extras. Unfortunately, most seniors never hear this from their doctors. And by the time they do, it's often too late to reverse the damage. That's why we can't rely on the medical system alone to guide us through aging. We have to take ownership. If you're over 60, you need more than prescriptions. You need a plan to stay mobile, independent, and mentally alive. Because aging isn't the problem, neglect is. You don't need to become a bodybuilder or run marathons, but you do need to stop waiting for your doctor to save you from a slow decline. That's your job now. And the good news? It's never too late to start. Number 4, the hidden impact of emotional suppression. One of the most overlooked threats to health after 70 isn't physical at all, it's emotional suppression. Many seniors grew up in a generation that didn't talk about feelings. They were taught to be strong, to hide pain, to keep everything inside. Over time, this habit becomes deadly. Bottled up emotions, grief, anger, regret, loneliness, don't disappear. They build pressure inside the body like a slow-burning fuse. and eventually they manifest as disease. Chronic stress caused by repressed emotions can trigger heart problems, immune system breakdown, memory issues, and even cancer. It's not dramatic, it's silent, and that's what makes it so dangerous. You see it in people who seem fine on the outside. They smile, nod, follow routines. But inside, they're carrying decades of unprocessed pain. The loss of a spouse they never really grieved, the trauma from a war or a childhood that was never spoken of, the disappointment in how their life turned out, but no space to express it, and society doesn't help. We tell older adults to stay cheerful, to be grateful, to not burden others with their feelings. But bearing emotions doesn't create peace, it creates pressure, and pressure destroys the body from within. True healing doesn't come from medication alone. It comes from release, from honest conversations, from crying when you need to cry, from talking to someone who actually listens. Seniors need emotional outlets just as much as physical checkups. Whether it's therapy, journaling, spiritual practice, or simply having a friend to open up to, the act of expressing feelings can reverse years of inner tension. And that tension, if left untouched, is what shortens lives quietly. Aging is full of emotional challenges: loss of identity, physical decline, fading roles in family and society. Ignoring those realities doesn't make them go away. Facing them, naming them, and giving them space to breathe, that's where real strength lies. And here's the truth. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's power, especially after 70, because the older you get, the more important emotional freedom becomes for your physical survival. Don't let silence become your slow death. Speak, feel, heal. That's how you stay alive, not just in body, but in spirit. Number 5, nutrition myths that persist with age. One of the most dangerous lies people believe after 60 is that they should eat less and avoid fat, protein, or certain heavy foods. This outdated advice has quietly destroyed the health of millions of seniors. As the body ages, it actually needs more nutritional support, not less. But because of fear, myths, or poor guidance, many older adults drastically reduce their food intake, skip essential nutrients, and unknowingly starve their muscles, brain, and bones. The result? Weakness, memory loss, fragile bones, low energy, and faster aging. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens silently, meal by meal. One of the biggest myths is that protein is hard to digest for older adults. So many stop eating meat, eggs, or beans, when in reality, protein is essential to prevent muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia. Without enough protein, the body shrinks from the inside out. Falls become more common. Recovery from illness becomes slower. Independence fades. And yet the myth persists. The same goes for healthy fats. Many seniors still fear fat, thinking it causes heart problems. But the brain needs fat, especially omega-3s, to function properly. Fat helps absorb vitamins, maintain hormone balance, and keep skin and joints healthy. Cutting out fat too aggressively can actually do more harm than good. Another harmful myth, that seniors should eat less because they don't move much anymore. This mindset leads to undereating, low-calorie intake, and eventually malnutrition, even in people who appear to be eating 3 meals a day. But not all calories are created equal. A small bowl of rice is not the same as a nutrient-dense plate with greens, protein, and healthy oils. Nutritional quality, not just quantity, matters more than ever after 60. The truth is, the aging body becomes less efficient at absorbing nutrients, so you need to be smarter, not stricter, about food. Eat real, whole foods. Include protein in every meal. Embrace healthy fats. Get enough fiber, vitamin D, calcium, and B12. And don't let fear or outdated rules decide your plate, because what you eat in your 70s and 80s will decide whether you walk confidently into your 90s or not at all. Food isn't just fuel. At this stage, it's medicine. And the right nutrition can add years to your life. Not just more time, but better time. So now you know, the real reasons most people don't live past 80 have nothing to do with fate or bad luck. They have everything to do with awareness and action. It's not just disease that shortens life, it's the quiet things we ignore, the habits we stop caring about, the emotions we never express, the meals we skip or simplify, the purpose we lose sight of once we retire. All of it adds up, not overnight, but year by year, silently chipping away at strength, clarity, and joy. But here's the most important truth of all. Aging is not the problem, neglect is. And the good news? Neglect is something you can change. Right now, starting today. You don't need to reverse time. You just need to make time matter again. You don't have to become someone else. You just have to reclaim who you are underneath the layers of routine, passivity, and outdated beliefs. So ask yourself honestly, am I preparing for life after 80 or just hoping I make it? Do I still wake up with purpose, eat with intention, move with strength, speak with honesty? Or have I accepted a slow fade without even realizing it? You have more power than you think, more time than you feel, and more life waiting to be lived. But only if you take control. Not someday, but now. Get stronger, get curious, get emotionally free, eat smarter, reconnect with something that makes your heart beat a little faster. You're not done. You're just entering a different kind of strength, one that's quieter, deeper, and wiser. And remember, longevity isn't about avoiding death. It's about embracing life fully. So when you reach 80, 90, even 100, you're not just existing, you're thriving. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Comment below with one change you'll commit to today. And if you want more truths that can change your health and your life, don't forget to subscribe. This isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of your second chapter. Let's write it with intention.